Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give our honor and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Kwadash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles and bishops, great millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect, starting with the 144,000 governing body of the nation of Yasha Allah, and the men, the women, the children, the true believer in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. May he have mercy on you in these last days. It's your brother, I'm Nawa Allah, coming back at you with another lesson from the Great Millstone Cleveland Church. Lord willing to be edifying. The name of the lessons is, it is a time to hate and a time for evil. And it is, and you can see it. So I'm just get right into it. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3. And I'm going to start from the top. Verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. And a time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. If you're paying attention to these scriptures right here that I'm reading, the Lord's letting you know there's a lot of things that it's a time for and not a time, to enjoy. He says, I'm going to kind of backtrack and ramble through real quick. He says, a time to be born and a time to die. All right. A time to kill and a time to heal. That is where we're in right now. There's a lot of time. It is a time. It's killing going on. It's mass killings, which really is murder. Okay. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. So it's weeping and mourning going on right now. If you're not paying attention, if you're in the spirit of rejoicing in this kingdom, then the spirit of the Lord Yahweh by Shemi Shah is not with you, and you must understand that, and perhaps you can get the right understanding and get a good dose of fear, and maybe he'll open things up for you. What I mean by open things up, understanding of the Bible, his wisdom, the fear that you should have in these days that we're living in right now. It says, let me get right to it. It says a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and 6. So there is a time to lose. People are losing right now. Okay? People are losing their homes. They're losing their lives. All right? They're losing their mind. Because this is the time we're in. And the only thing that could protect you is the spirit, power, and mercy of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. It says a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. We're in a time of hate and we're in a time of war. We're not in a time of peace. Peace will come when Yahweh by Shemi Yahweh Shai delivers his elect. That's it. There is no peace. And as you can see, I got the image of the brother with his nose turned up for his disdain, his hatred towards these Edomites. If you don't know, this is a picture. I forgot the brother's name, but I remember screenshotting this, and I was like, this would be a good lesson to demonstrate the hatred between Esau and Jacob. And then you can see it right there. Those Edomites were mad because, unfortunately, he took justice in his own hand and he put to death the Edomite that put his sons to death, which is righteous at the end of the day. But in this kingdom, it's not. And he's not going to get any mercy on this side. But Lord willing, he'll get mercy when he's reborn in the kingdom. Or if the Lord give him the spirit to repent in the state of mind that he's in right now. Nevertheless, this is a moment in time that was time stamped, and it represents hatred. It doesn't represent love between the so-called white man and the black man. Okay, it's no love. It's pure hatred, and we can see the hatred coming from not just the heathen, but if you're in this truth, if you're a servant of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and when I say servant, I'm talking about the men. Women can only do one thing: serve their husband if they want to serve the Lord. That's a whole different ball game of hatred that a woman has towards the Lord that she doesn't even recognize by her disobedience towards her husband. But we're going to even go down that rabbit hole right now. I'm going to stick to the subject, but that's a fact. And I got some scriptures to just highlight, a little sprinkle there just to let you know the Lord already said that your woman and your children were going to be against you. And your family, right? Really, the truth of the matter is, if you're a servant of the Lord, you got your Akim, but at the end of the day, you're on your own. This is the scriptures say, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And if a woman and your children can be saved by your works, and it can happen the other way around too. But at the end of the day, the Lord is dealing with the men, and the men understand that we're in a time of hate. That's why I don't love nobody. I only love the Lord and the brothers that's in the truth. Because what is love? Okay? Let's get it real quick. Salakia. This is 2 John 1 and 6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it. That's love. Walking in the love or in the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So if a person denies Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, yeah, there's not going to be, it on the surface, it looks like y'all love each other, but deep down, they don't love you, because anybody is not willing to tell you God doesn't like that, he will kill you for it. They don't love you. But you, talking about when you're dealing with your family, your wife, your children, when you tell them this is what's going to happen, this is the consequences if you don't do that, you're showing love. That's why America's got to be destroyed. And the Lord is telling you right now, let me do my work, because I'm stirring up hatred and I'm stirring up war, evil, no peace. The only way we're going to get peace is when Yahweh Shai returns and destroy America. This is Luke chapter 14. And 26. It says, if any man come to me and hate not his father. What does that word hate mean right here? To love them less. To put them on the back burner for this truth. Because if you know you're in a time of war, in a time of hatred, and the Lord has identified who his enemies are, pursuing the Psalms chapter 83, they hate you. Okay? Because you're the Lord's chosen people. Right? So there's that aspect of hatred from the heathen. Okay? starting with the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. Then you got the hatred coming from your own family members or people that's supposed to be, your brother and sister because y'all supposedly so-called black people. That shit don't mean nothing. Look, a nigga hate you more than the so-called white man. These niggas are going to really be hating the men of the Lord as we get closer towards the end. So the Lord is preparing us, those who seek Him, those who He have called, to prepare our minds to separate from certain things and to hate it, which means to love less. It says, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also. So that means you gotta put away the things that you like to do, that you love. The Lord's saying, hate that shit right now. I give it back to you in the kingdom if it's lawful, which you should only be indulging in things that are lawful anyway. And when I use the word indulge with balance, as we're getting closer to the end, the Lord is telling us to hate being lazy, hate being slothful, okay? And start preparing your body and your mind for the times we're about to go into. It says, in his own life, Luke 14:26, if any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever do not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. That's the point. That's the point. Because what does Yahweh Shah represent? If you're a disciple of him, you're disciplining yourself to be like him and under him, because he's over the men of the Lord. I mean, he's over all the Israelite men, but he's only dealing with the Israelite men that were predestinated to be dealing with him. And so even that can cause a person to not be fully persuaded because they don't know if they're going to be delivered. They're of the elect. Well, guess what? He died for all Israel, but he's only dealing with the elect right now. So don't count yourself out because you love this world. You don't want to hate. And I say that with meaning love less than the individuals that I just announced to you. And you damn sure don't want to be loving these fucking devils who hate you with a perpetual hatred. And Lord willing, I'm going to read that. This is Luke 12. Slocky. Internet is really bad today. Luke 12. I lost my spot. 1 second. Here we go. Luke 12:53. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, and the mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And he shall also, and he said also to the people, oh, I went too far down. Salakia. Let me start back up. This is Luke chapter 12, verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on the earth. I tell you nay, but rather division, because Yahushua is the peace. And the Lord said in Ecclesiastes 3:8, he said, there is a time for war or time for hate and a time for peace. Let me go back and get that real quick so I don't butcher it. Yeah. Ecclesiastes 3 and 8 again. A time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. But Yahweh Bashim Shah is telling you, he said, Luke 12 and 51 again. Suppose ye that I come to give peace on earth. I tell you nay, but rather division. For from henceforth there shall be five in one house divided, three against two, and two against three. What does that mean? Hatred within the individual households. But the point, if you're a man of the Lord, no matter how you skin it, break it down, there's gonna be issues even in your household, and from you're gonna feel the hatred from your own, like your wife, your children. You may feel that. This is a real thing. As we get closer and closer to the end, they are the weaker vessels. They got the weaker spirit. So the Lord's going to allow Satan to do what he do, especially if they're not even listening to what you're saying. And when you're trying to lead, and it's very evident that what Apostle Tahar tells you, it's not even this truth is not even for women at all, really. But there are women who believe, and Lord willing, they're gonna get what it means to be submissive and understand. That's how you show that you love the Lord, when you're submissive to your husband. When the children are in order, that's how they show that they love the Lord, and not begrudgingly neither, not with a fucking attitude, or like as if you're only doing it because the scriptures say so, but you don't believe. The Lord knows everybody's thoughts, and he knows all you Israelites too is in the spirit of mirth, that you don't want to hate these damn devils, that you don't want to hate the world. You're trying to way to fuse the Israelites heritage into the world by bringing worldly speech, actions, and the things that you do into this truth. Rapping and shit. Not that that's wrong, but making videos and trying to push it like you glorifying the name Yahweh Bashim Shai and don't even be using the right name. I'm speaking, in a tangent, because that shows a sign of not hating this place. All right. It says, the father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother, and the mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Why? Because there's no peace. Okay? The love of many is waxing cold. Lord willing, I'm going to get that. This is John. 1 John 2 and 16. 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. So that's a commandment to hate the sin and the sinners. For you people out there that say the Lord don't he hates the sin, not the sinner. Well, what does this mean right here? This is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 6. It says, for the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. So he does hate you people that willfully sin, especially you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, whom he showed you love. How did he show you love? This is how he showed you love. This is Malachi chapter 1 And I'm going to start at verse 2. Well, I'll start at verse 1. Malachi 1:1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein have you loved us? Was not Esau's Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord, yet I love Jacob. Why does he say he loves Jacob? Because he gave you the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the love that I just read to you in 2 John, right? Let me go back to it. One second. This is 2 John 1:6 again. This is how you know the Lord loves us. He says, and this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it. Let me give you one more. 1 second here. Slocking. Forgive me 1 second. I'm looking up something. Oh, here we go. This is 1 John 5. Come on, man. Come on. Salagi, this computer internet is running real slow. Starting to cut into my time here. That's alright. I'll do this. I ain't got time for that, bro. Pull out the whole sword here. So this act right. Okay, here we go. This is 1 John 5:3. For this is the love of the Most High. Now I'm going to start at verse 2. 1 John 5:2. By this we know that we love the children of the Most High, when we love the Most High and keep his commandments. For this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. For whosoever is born of the Most High overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. So that's how you know when a person really loves you, by the way. And this is how you know how the Lord, he's telling you, you know, that when he doesn't love you. And if you're a heathen or you're an Israelite that hasn't repented, yeah, he hates you right now. He's not dealing with you. To not have the fear of the Lord, to not have this knowledge, this wisdom is a sign of disdain and disgust towards you. Because more than likely, no, it ain't no more than likely, you're going to be going off, and he doesn't like to see that in his children. This sacrifice wasn't for you to keep sinning and shit and being a derelict or whatever, or just wicked. And I'm trying to stay on track, but you know, the spirit do what it do. All right. So back to John, 1 John 2:15 again. For all that is in the world is the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. So Loving the world makes you an enemy to the Heavenly Father, right? And it also shows that you don't hate the things that He's telling you to hate. That He's telling you to work on and purge out of your life, man. This is John 7:7. The world cannot hate you, but me it hated, because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil. And what was the works? What I just read to you in First John 2 and 15 through 16. The lust of the eyes, the pride of life. Those are all things that the Lord hates, and Yahweh Shah testifies against it. He's letting you know that the works are evil. So if you hate those things, look what it says. Oh no, that's it. Yeah, so if you hate those things, then by default, the world's gonna hate you. Okay? Not just the so-called white man, but your own family as well. You don't celebrate holidays, you detest the things of this world, as the scriptures say, then that's a blessing from the Lord. But it's just showing you this, like we just reading, you bearing your cross, you're showing your hatred right back. And this is the time we're in. As you learn more, you become more wise, you really start to hate everything about this place, man. And if you don't, you got a fucking problem. The Lord gave us commandments. This is Proverbs 8:13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Pride. That goes back to the lust of the world, the things of this world. It says arrogancy and the evil way and the forward mouth do I hate. So the Lord's letting you know everything He hates, you're supposed to hate. And the reason you should fear it, because if you don't hate it, then you're probably participating in it. You love it. Therefore, your ass gonna suffer the same fate as those who were allotted to be judged for being a part of this world and loving the things of this world. This is a quick precept to show you, because the Lord loves us. This is one of this is another precept to show you how the so-called white man hates you. This is Ezekiel chapter 35:5. Because thou has a perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Seest thou house has not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And Esau Edom is the so-called white man, Mount Seir. This is what the scripture's going into. But the Lord is letting you know in the historical fact that these people hate us. Because He gave us the law, statutes, and commands. He gave us the blessing, the kingdom to come, and He gave them the blessing of now. This is their kingdom now. And their blessing is the sword. And you see it. You see them, what does the scripture say? A time of war. You see them pushing war on the four corners of the earth, pillaging and taking, lying, stealing. All right? And those are things of the world. And you're supposed to hate those things. And you shouldn't want to introduce it to the truth or bring it in and camouflage it, like because you think you're righteous now, this is a righteous thing I'm bringing. No. The Most High says separate ourselves from this way of living and to hate it. This is Matthew chapter 24. Let me see where I'm going to start. Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And what we's talking about, let me go up some. I'll start at verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. We're seeing rumors of wars. We're seeing the hatred amongst the nations. We're seeing the hatred towards the people rising up against the government, which is sedition. All right? It says, for nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right now, you're seeing a famine over there in the so-called Middle East. We're seeing earthquakes throughout the United States. All right? We're seeing pestilence. Okay? It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sakes. For all nations is the enemies of the Lord. Psalms chapter 83. It says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. We're seeing that in Israel, the so-called people seeing it in the truth, but you can see the hatred amongst these other camps towards the men of Great Millstone. Why? Because the men of Great Millstone takes pride in defending the gospel. Takes pride in being a faith-based church, which still teaches that you have to keep the commandments to the best of your abilities, but let you know you're saved through grace, really, if you're of the elect. But in the meantime, you're being warned through the men about the coming MOTB. They hate us for that. You're being warned to stay away from the so-called black woman right now because she's out of order and she doesn't respect the so-called black man, okay, at all. Even the ones, a lot of them that say they're in the truth, they don't respect the order. And that's hatred towards Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, and many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. And because the iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. When you go into that word, wax cold, it goes back to the word psycho. And that's what you're seeing right now. All right, people's got demons on them. People are very depressed. And the hatred amongst the nations, and especially towards the children of Israel, speaking towards mainly the elect, is very, very prevalent now. You can see it. It says, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. The end is pretty much here. We're in the end. But now we have to go through that final trial. The great testing, the MOTB, Jacob's trouble. Wait till Jacob's trouble, and you're going to see why the Lord had these scriptures written to let you understand that hatred is going to increase and the love is going to decrease. Maybe that'll be the title of the lesson. All right. So Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai. Ba'ashem Rahakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom.